Hey everyone, it's Ginny, and today I'm coming at you for preschool story time. And we have the theme of clothes and getting dressed. So I wore my favorite shirt, which has constellations on it. So the stars, patterns in the sky. It's one of my favorite shirts because I love the stories of all the constellations. So that's why I wore it today, to show you guys. Now, we are going to sing our hello song. Before we get started, we use sign language by saying hello, friends. So can you guys sing with me? Okay. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's time to say hello. Good job. That was fantastic. Now we're going to start out our story time with the book called Under My Hijab. This one is by Hena, and you might notice that the little girl here is wearing a scarf, a headscarf. Now, some Muslim women and girls wear headscarves, some don't. It really depends on their own personal beliefs. But we're going to read about this little girl's family and her own experience with headscarves. Grandma peeks into the oven as a brown loaf of bread starts to rise. Her hijab is carefully folded, like the crusts on my favorite pies. See her hijab? And we have all of these great looking pies. Look at that. I think that's blueberry, and that one might be peach. And, what could the red one be? Strawberry? Yeah. But look at how well she bakes. That's amazing, right? She's a baker. Well, when she's at home in her kitchen, Grandma fixes her hair in a bun. Do you see a bun? We mix up some chocolate cookies and share a sweet treat when they're done. This probably looks pretty familiar to you, right? Where you're cracking eggs, you're adding butter and flour and chocolate, and you mix them all up into cookies. Mama makes jokes with her patient as she peers into his ears and his throat. Her bright pink hijab looks so cheerful, tucked into her tidy white coat. So here's Mama's hijab. And you'll notice, what is she? She's a doctor! Yeah, that's right. At home, Mama lets her long hair down. As she rolls up the sleeves on her shirt, we laugh while we plant pretty flowers and make a big mess with dirt. Look at all of that mess. And you'll notice that Mama doesn't have her hijab on when she's at home with her family. Sometimes women who are Muslim don't wear the hijab when they're at home or with family members. Now look, who is that? That's her auntie. And what does her auntie do? She paints, or she's an artist. Auntie works hard in her studio. She's always dressed funky and cool. Her silky hijab towers up high, pinned with a handmade jewel. You see that jewel? Look at all the beautiful colors on this page. You know it's an artist studio, don't you? Well, I help hang my very own painting on the wall of her colorful home. Auntie's hair is streaked pink and purple, a fine work of art that she can comb. Look at that hairstyle. That's pretty cool. Jenna's our fearless troop leader. She makes us the gooeyest s'mores. Her hijab is topped with a sun hat whenever we hike the outdoors. And there's Jenna, the troop master here. What kinds of things do you think they see on their hike? Maybe some birds, like this little bluebird. Maybe some flowers and butterflies. I wonder if they see any other animals. Well, here they are in the tent. When dark falls, we huddle together and share spooky stories all night. Jenna's hair glows as she whispers, and I shiver and hold her arm tight. Have you ever gone camping and done spooky tales or stories? I have sometimes, but they always scare me. And here we have my sister Hena in high school. She wears something stylish each day. She puts on a fashionable outfit and wraps her hijab in a cute way. There's Hena. Hena ties up her hair in the evening when she takes a short break from her book. And then we dig through her clothes in her closet to find tomorrow's fresh new look. That's a pretty cool new look, right? What is this girl doing? Karate, that's right. Well, Iman tries to earn her first black belt. A sporty hijab frames her face. When she cracks a board into pieces, I'm amazed her hijab stays in place. Look at that. I don't think I could do that, not without a lot of practice. But at my house, we dance to some music. I teach Iman some moves that I know. My cousin's curls bounce, jump, and tumble as we put on our own private show. Do you ever have dance parties like this? Yeah. These wonderful, wonderful girls and smart women inspire me with all that they do. I can wear my hijab like each of them, or try something totally new. So each of them has to wear the same piece of clothing, just like, you know, shirts or pants, but they get to do their style through it. So one wears it in an artistic way, one does a sporty look, and so on. Under my hijab, in a headband or a clip with butterfly wings, my hair shines bright like my future. I can't wait to see what it brings. And that's her style. And that's the end. This kind of makes me think about all the ways that we use clothes or our hair or other things to show who we are. So by looking at my shirt with the constellations, you might know that I like storytelling and that I like stars and astrology. But maybe you have a shirt with a unicorn or a dinosaur, and that tells me a little bit about you too. I love how we can kind of express ourselves and learn about each other through clothes. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Well, speaking of clothes, we have a little rhyme. This one is called Grandma's Glasses. And so when we use Grandma's items, we're going to uplift our voice a little bit into a high pitch. So kind of like this. Can you do that? Can you say Grandma's glasses? Good job. But then we're going to bring Grandpa in too. And we're going to use a big, deep voice for Grandpa. Can you say Grandpa's glasses? Yeah? Okay, so let me teach you the movements and the rhyme. I'm going to put my camera up just a little tad bit. There we go. Okay, so this one goes like this. Here are Grandma's glasses. And here is Grandma's hat. Here's the way Grandma folds her hands and lays them on her lap. Now, Grandpa.
Here are Grandpa's glasses. And here is Grandpa's hat. Here's the way Grandpa folds his arms and takes a little nap.
See? That was easy, right? Let's do it again. Okay. Remember high pitch. Here are Grandma's glasses, and here is Grandma's hat. Here's the way she folds her hands and lays them on her lap.
Here are Grandpa's glasses, and here is Grandpa's hat. Here's the way he folds his arms and takes a little nap.
Good job. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to our next story. Now, we talked about how clothes can express us, But there's also a whole nother thing that clothes keep us warm and they protect us from nature. So when it's cold outside, for example, we wear hats and scarves and mittens and coats. And when it's really warm outside, we might wear shorts to keep ourselves cool. So this book is all about getting dressed, because it takes much longer to get dressed in the winter, right? When you're putting on hats and coats and mittens and scarves and all sorts of things, as opposed to when in summer you just have to put on a t-shirt and some shorts, right? And some sandals. Well, this one is called Froggy Gets Dressed by Jonathan London. It was cold. Froggy woke up and looked out the window. And what did he see? Snow, that's right. Snow, he sang. I want to play in the snow. Go back to sleep, Froggy, said his mother. Don't you know? Frogs are supposed to sleep all winter. Wake up when the snow melts. Do you think Froggy likes that answer? No, no, cried Froggy. I'm awake, and I want to go out and play in the snow. So Froggy jumped out of bed, didn't he? Froggy put on his socks. Zoop. He pulled on his boots. Zup. He put on his hat, zat, and he tied on his scarf, zwit, and then he tugged on his mittens, zum, and he flopped outside into the snow. Flop, flop, flop. Froggy, called his mother. What? Said Froggy. Did you forget something? Did Froggy forget something? Froggy looked down. Whoops, cried Froggy. I forgot to put on my pants. So he flopped back inside. Flop, flop, flop. He tugged off his mittens. He untied his scarf. He took off his hat. He pulled off his boots. And he left his socks on. Then he slipped on his pants. Zip. That's a lot of work. Then he pulled on his boots. Zoop. He put on his hat. Zat. He tied his scarf. Zwit. And he tugged on his mittens. Zum. And he flopped back outside into the snow. Flop, flop, flop. Froggy! Cried his mom. What? Said Froggy. Did you forget to put something on? Froggy looked down. What could he have forgotten? He has pants. He has boots and probably socks. He has a scarf and a hat and mittens. Uh-oh. Froggy looked down. Whoops, he cried. I forgot to put on my shirt. And your coat, added his mom. He flopped back outside. Flop, flop, flop. Tugged off his mittens, untied his scarf and took off his hat. He left on his pants, boots, and socks. And then he buttoned up his shirt. Zip, zip, zip. Then he snapped on his coat. Zap. He put on his hat. Zat. He tied on his scarf. Zwit. He tugged on his mittens. Zum. And he flopped back outside into the snow. Flop, flop, flop. Froggy, called his mother. What? Said Froggy. Did you forget to put something on? Froggy looked down. He had on his mittens. He had on his scarf. He had on his coat. He had on his shirt. He had on his pants. He had on his boots. He had on his socks. And he reached up and yes, he had on his hat. What could be missing? It looks like he has everything, right? But his mom has the answer. She cried, "Your underwear!" His mom laughed. "Oops," cried Froggy, looking more red in the face than green. Why might he look more red in the face? Because he's embarrassed. Well, he flopped back inside. Flop, flop, flop. He tugged off his mittens. He untied his scarf. He unzapped his coat. He unbuttoned his shirt and unzipped his pants. He pulled off his boots. He pulled off his socks. He left his hat on. And then he slipped on his long johns, his underwear, with a zap of elastic. Then he put on one sock. Zoop. He pulled on one boot. Zop. He tugged on one mitten. Zum. And he started to tug on the other, but let it drop and said, "I'm too tired." And he went back to sleep. What did he leave in his trail? That's right, all of the clothes, pants and shirts and coats and mittens and boots. And then Froggy was asleep. Good night, Froggy. And that's the story of Froggy Gets Dressed by Jonathan London. That one is such a funny story, isn't it? I love that story. Because it does talk about how much more we have to do in winter to keep ourselves warm and how important clothes are for people to be able to stay warm. So we have time for one more rhyme. I'm going to teach it to you here. It's about 5 snowmen. I bet you could have guessed. All right, this one is called 5 Little Snowmen, and it goes like this. 5 little snowmen standing in a row, each with a hat and a big red bow. Along came the sun, and it shone all day until one little snowman melted away. Whoop. Now how many do we have? 4. That's right, you guys are so smart. So 4 little snowmen standing in a row, each with a hat and a big red bow. Along came the sun, and it shone all day until one little snowman melted away. Oh. Now we have 3. 3 little snowmen standing in a row, each with a hat and a big red bow. Along came the sun, and it shone all day until one little snowman melted away. Now we have how many? 2, that's right. 1, 2. So 2 little snowmen standing in a row, each with a hat and a big red bow. Along came the sun, and it shone all day until one little snowman melted away. Now how many? Yeah, that's right, just 1. 1 little snowman standing all alone. He had a hat and a big red bow. Along came the sun, and it shone all day until that one little snowman melted away. And now there are 0. But that's okay, because I think we're getting more snow soon, so we can build 5 more. Okay, so we have done a lot of good talking today. We learned a lot of new things, like what a hijab is and how our clothes are so important in protecting us through the winter. So now we're going to say our goodbyes. So we say goodbye, friend. You guys ready to sing? Okay. Goodbye, friend. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining me, and I am excited to see you guys next time. All right, have a good day. Bye.